Okay, so thank you, Holly, for joining me on this short interview. First of all, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself and tell us what you do.
Yeah, sure. So Holly Hinton, and I am the Web Goddess, or my company is now Web Goddess. So we help ambitious businesses build websites and with their SEO, and we like to do it a little bit differently than other companies, so that we don't, so that we're transparent really, and we help companies to understand their technology as well.
That's good. That's good. We all need to update our website regularly, so I'm 100% sure.
Including me. So that's another story. I'm trying to move mine at the moment, and it's yeah, I've got so much client work. It will get done.
Yeah.
It will get
Okay.
done.
And can I ask that because we know each other through a business group, and then you participated not long ago on one of my business selfies workshops. So, how important images are for you in your business, if you don't?
I think they're really important because you can, especially in technology, we can hide behind a computer. And you quite often, I think with web design companies, you don't meet the people who are doing your website or who are looking after you. So images for me are really important to show that there's actually a person, or in my case, people behind the business, and that you're actually dealing with people rather than just a faceless corporation or a company. And then in terms of images of me doing my job as well, that's really important. And it's not something you'd get a photographer necessarily come in and take a picture of you at your desk, but so they are important in that respect as well, just to show that we're real people.
Okay. And why did you decide to participate in the selfie workshop?
Yeah, so there were two reasons actually. The first of which was because this is my year of doing things for myself. I am sick of hiding. As most people, I think most women especially, I've always got more weight to lose. I've always got something that, I could do with having a new top or something else. And I thought, you know what? I'm not going to hide behind that anymore. I'm going to do it. So in the interim, before I have a professional shoot with you, because that is literally on my wish list, I thought this is the next best thing. And I wanted to do it in person because I wanted that experience. And I think for me, I will travel 2-3 hours to do something for my kids. But as soon as it was a couple of hours to get to you, I was thinking, oh, I don't know. And I thought, I'm going anyway. I'm going to do it. So it was really just to get out for myself, actually, but also because the skills that I've learned.
Yeah.
That was really important to me. And actually, I learned a lot more than I thought I was going to, in terms of just, I sort of came with no expectation, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just that I sort of came because as I said, it was a way of me getting out. Um, but it was just fantastic to be immersed in it for a few hours, and lots of skills, which is fantastic.
I love because you mentioned so many things I would like to reflect back on. First of all, that yes, you are not the only one with this. I hate my selfies and you don't show up or don't post these photos because you don't like them. And as you already know, this is just a skill. We just
Yeah,
need to learn how to position our phone and how to pose ourselves and everything like this. So this, yeah, absolutely part of the workshop. And the other one, that thank you so much for mentioning that you travel that far from that
yeah,
far to me, because this is one of those objections on the in-person selfie workshop, because I do teach this online as well, but I have to tell you and everybody who is watching this that I can teach you so much more when I am there and actively, can go and help you set up your phone, look what you take and correct it or help you make it even better. So I definitely can teach much more, because when I do this online, obviously I still ask the ladies to, join in the Zoom call through their phone, and I can see them, through their camera, but it's a little bit different when then they have to get out of Zoom, open up their camera that has a different ratio. So not everything is the same, and then they have to
yeah.
adjust the phone for themselves. So this is a little bit, I would say, more difficult,
Yes,
but yeah, but
yeah.
that's why
And it wasn't even the fact that in terms of being able to move our cameras and that. I think what I liked was seeing how you then demonstrated how to pose, or how you would stand, or how you would do, because you can't get that through a screen. As you said, you know, the ratio is different on the screen on Zoom as well. So you just can't get that interaction. And actually, in person, you then get to meet other people as well. So then it becomes a networking event as well. I always like to see that, you know, it's more than one thing I'm going for. But for me, because I think it was about 2.5 hours to get to you from me. But for that, because it was 10 o'clock, I think we started, wasn't it? It was a doable time.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't so early in the morning that you felt that you had to stay or what have you. So that really, for me, just made it doable. And I ended up staying, but that was for a completely different reason. But, you know, I would have traveled there and back in a day without an issue.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And what was the biggest takeaway from the workshop for you?
The biggest thing, and I did say this at the workshop, is when we look at your images online, because obviously we do know each other, but I've been watching your images on social media, is I used to think I just take one, it's awful, I'm not going to take any more. And the biggest takeaway was when you were showing us just how many photos you actually take before you decide which one you're going to use. And I think I just had it in my brain that if I couldn't do that in 2 shots, it wasn't going to work. So I've really tried then, when I've been taking photos, you know, I'll take 10, 20, 30 rather than 2. So for me, and I know all of the nice things about the camera angles and everything else were very useful, and, you know, there's skills I'm learning, but it was just that it's not meant to be perfect in 1 shot. So I don't know why that was in my head.
Yeah, absolutely. And you are not the only one who thinks that. And you know, this is why I always tell to everybody that during a selfie session for my staff, I take at least 50 photos at least.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I choose maybe 6, 7, 8
That's
that
it.
I'm happy
Yeah.
with. And I have been doing this for years, taking
And I think
photos and
that's,
teaching
yeah, the other
selfies.
thing, yeah, was that in terms of that as well, is that you set aside the time for that. So I again, it had been something that was down my list of priorities. So I would try and take 1 or 2 snaps while I was in the middle of something else. So I was using like a 5-minute gap in the day, whereas now I'm planning it into my day and you know, making sure that I've got the setup right and everything. So I take my time. And that makes a lot of difference as well. And again, I think because you make it look so effortless, we forget that it takes preparation, and it's not just about, you know, so it's not just about taking one image, it's about different outfits or different images, different locations, but do it all at the same time. And then you're bulking it.
Yeah.
And that makes it better use of your time as well.
Absolutely. Just the same as, for example, if you do something for Instagram, create a couple of reels, or you record other
Yeah.
kind of videos. You don't do what's one at a time, but you set a day or a half a day and do them in a batch and then reuse them.
Yeah. But it's funny how my brain didn't compute that. I think that was the, you know, I'm thinking, oh, this has got to be easy. This has got to be, she just looks at, makes it look effortless, which I think is just testament to your professionalism and skill. But that, it makes me, I sort of think it makes me look a little bit silly, but I'm happy to admit that silliness, because like, of course it's not just one photo. So yeah, that was brilliant.
I'm glad. I'm glad. So would you recommend this to other? And
Absolutely. I was going to say, I met with a couple of friends recently, and one of them said, where did you get your new profile picture taken for LinkedIn? And when I said I took it myself, I couldn't believe it. So for me, it's just that knowing the angles to take so that I get the best side, that you know, the images I'm happy to share. That's really, really important. And I just think it was 4 hours out of my time to learn some amazing skills. So absolutely recommend it.
And what would you say to someone who is considering doing the workshop but undecided yet?
I think you need to sort of do what I did and decide it's your year. You know, it's your time to say, look, I'm not going to put it off any longer, because there's always going to be some excuse, isn't there? There's always going to be, for me, as I said, weight or what have you. There's always going to be a reason to not step in front of the camera. But because of the way that you teach and the skills that I'm learning, and I am still obviously learning, I just feel more comfortable, and I'm only ever going to feel better as I continue to practice.
Yeah.
So I think if if you're on the fence, it's just a case of you've got nothing to lose. Just do it. And it really was amazing. It was a fantastic day.
Right. And do you think your business will benefit from this, Kale?
Oh, absolutely. I've got a few photos. I'm not really happy with the ones I took before I went on the workshop. So because I've now got the equipment, and it's not much, it's obviously just a selfie stick, but I can, I've got some of the skills of that. I'm starting to plan it into my time more to actually do more of that, and think about how I can then use me as the way that I sell the business. So it's planning and strategy more than just having a go, which is what I was doing in the past.
Yeah, and this is what I always preach about, that your images are much more important than many people think, because you can have a word-saving offer, but if you pair it with an image that won't attract anybody, so they won't stop to read it, or they attract some people but not the right people, not your ideal clients, then you won't get anywhere with that offer. They're not going to actually read it. And
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Thank you so much, Holly. And
You're very
I can't
welcome.
wait to see all your new selfies.
Yes, I will. I have started, but I'm going to, do some more.
I've been nagging you.
Yeah, you will. Absolutely. And I expect you to.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks, Bori.